What's going on, guys? You can call me T, and today we have a little bit of a controversial topic to go over, but I feel like it's needed in today's day and age. And that is that we need to hit the reset button on the whole social media bike era. Everything just needs to hit a reset and kind of go back to where things used to be, but not fully. And there are a couple things I want to talk about, and we'll get into that right now.
Alright, so first things first, I want to talk about this overhyped leader bike drama that's going on here, where if you have anything to do with sport bikes and social media, you will know it is just hands down, if it comes to any type of recommendation or if you are any type of content creator, the comments are going to say something like, if it's not a BMW S1000 or a Panigale V4 or a Kawasaki H2, then it ain't worth it, you know? And that's just stupid. Not everything is about a leader bike, and honestly, leader bikes aren't even that fun, especially if you're like in an area where I am. Now, I want to say probably about 90% of people are not going to use a leader bike for what it's actually meant to be doing. A lot of these people will buy a leader bike because, you know, the clout. It's just because it's the hype bike, you know. Like, I personally do not like the BMW S1000. You know, I'm not a fan of the looks, but if that's something that you want to have, you want to go get, I'm all for it. But that's one of the nice things that I can do is I can say that I don't like it. Now, a lot of people will probably jump down in the comments and say, how could you not like such a beautiful bike? And I'm not saying that I don't like it. I think it can be done right, but in its stock form, I don't think it's that good looking of a bike. But that's just me. But going back onto this topic of this whole leader bike drama thing, is that when you're stuck in traffic or riding around the cities or wherever you are on a leader bike, majority of the time, you're not even going to really need a shift. It's just a boring ride. You're going to want to go fast, and you can't because you're stuck. Like right now, if I was riding on a leader bike, and yeah, I do like riding leader bikes. They're fun, don't get me wrong. But what am I going to do? I can't go hauling ass in a straight line. You know, I got too much stuff going on here. I got too much traffic, too many cars coming the other way. I can't really pass. Like, I could, but I'm not going to be one of those people. It's not who I am. Me personally, I like the 650s because you can still shift, you still get plenty of speed, and it's comfortable. Like, I am all about comfortability when it comes to riding a motorcycle. If I hurt by the end of the ride, then I'm not having fun. I can ride this bike all day long. Honestly, today I've been riding around. I just haven't recorded anything until right now. But I've been riding this thing probably like 4 hours today just because it's so much fun to ride, shifting gears, hitting the twisties, you know, it's just overall fun. Not as fun on a leader bike. But that's all I'm really going to say on that topic. It's kind of, you know, there's not much to say about it. You know, it's just a hype thing that people want because they think the leader bike is going to get them followers or it's going to make them popular or whatever. And it might. It really just depends on how you record things or how you go about doing what you do. Now, moving on to the next big topic that I really think people need to dial back on is when it comes to gear. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a big believer in wearing gear. I am a bare minimum gloves and full face helmet, but that's just me. As you can see right now, I'm still wearing I'm wearing a jacket, but that's only because it's cold outside. I say cold, it's like 68, but it gets cold to me when I start riding, so that's why I'm wearing this jacket right now. But when it's like 100 degrees outside, I'll be out here with just short sleeves, gloves, and the helmet. And I want to believe that everybody who hops on a motorcycle knows the risks that comes with riding a bike. And obviously the risk that you take speeding or doing something really stupid and or illegal, that you know what could happen. And so just yelling at these people online saying, you know, when there's that one TikTok girl that's got her camera, you know, it's sitting right here, it's facing her, she's got her crop top on, cleavage out, all that stuff. And all the comments are either, you know, about cleavage, or it's about that when you crash, you're gonna have no skin and you're not gonna be pretty anymore. Whatever it is, something along those lines. She knows the risk she took when she got on the bike. You don't need to remind her. And not everybody has the same idea when it comes to gear. I've had plenty of comments in my own videos that are like, I can't believe you don't wear gear. You need bare minimum a tracksuit and all this stuff. And I just don't think that's needed. It's not that big of a deal to me. But I also am able to take, you know, comments with a grain of salt, because I'm still going to do whatever I choose to do. Nobody's going to really tell me otherwise. But again, like I said, I am all for letting you do whatever it is. And if I don't like it, I'm not going to go out of my way to comment on it or just be overall rude about it. Now, if you were to just kind of throw out something that's like, hey, when I was 16, I crashed and I didn't wear any gear, and now I have no skin on my arms, that's fine. People can choose to listen to that or not to listen to it. It's just whatever they prefer. But I definitely think people need to dial it back when it comes to comments like that, because it's overdone, and I really think people know what you're talking about. Like, it's not that big of a deal to me. Now, moving on to things that's not really a big of a deal to me, let people customize their bikes the way they do. And the comments, again, are going to be something like, that's the ugliest thing, or like the stealth mirrors that I have on my bike. I've had people say they are so ugly, they ruin the bike, you might as well just go mirrorless. I only have these because of legal reasons. If a cop pulls me over, I have mirrors, and it's part of the safety inspection, so I have to have them. Do they provide very little view? Yes. Do I think they look good? Yes. Are they practical? Not in the slightest. But that's just what I chose to put on my bike. Now, I imagine most people that get a bike, they usually join a Facebook group that's specific to that bike. Like for me, I am in the CBR 650R Facebook group. And of course, that's going to be like 99% things about this bike. I posted a picture one time, I think when I got the stealth mirrors and the smoked windscreen, and someone had commented on it that the reflectors near my tire were the reason why this bike was so ugly. And that is something so small that I am honestly dumbfounded that somebody even commented on it. But, you know, they have free will, they can do what they want. But that's so weird to say something like that. In my head, if you choose something to put on your bike, like say you want one of those giant windscreens that like come all the way up here, and like they're, you know, used like a cruiser windshield on a sport bike. Me personally, I don't think it looks good. But if you post a picture of your bike and you say, I love this thing, I'm gonna say, good on you. You gotta love what you ride. You know, I'm not gonna say anything really bad about it. It's not like we're showing up to a car meet with 10 clapped out Nissan Altimas and some Civics that have carbon fiber stick-ons and say built not bought on them. You know, bikes are a little bit different. Even in their stock form, I think they look amazing. And even me personally, I prefer newer style bikes. I love the sharp edges on them. I love the sharp headlights. I like pointy edges, you know, like I think it looks amazing. I'm not too fond of the older styles where they're rounded and the big headlights and stuff. Like I love LED headlights. But that's just me. I'll still go to a bike meet and I will be happy to see bikes, even if it's not my cup of tea. I'm just happy to see a bunch of people riding, and I think stock bikes look good. But you know you're going to get somebody out there that's just going to be like, oh, that is, like, I can't believe you ride this thing. You need to go get a bigger bike or whatever. And I just think that's wrong. I do love this bike. It sounds so good. She does sound so good with that Akrapovic exhaust. Now I'm going to stop talking about, you know, what I prefer and things like that. And I'm going to kind of go back on topic here about how you need to just kind of dial it back. And what I'm talking about here is content creation. Let's give this thing a slight test pull real quick. See, that's one of those things I can talk about where this bike has plenty of power. You don't need to be going 180 mile an hour every single day. 100 mile an hour is still plenty fast enough. But let's get back on topic. Content creation now is a whole different world. Ever since COVID happened, it is just like everybody and their mother is putting out content. And I'm happy for them. I love that there's so much content out there because there's so many things that you can see in so many different varieties. But there's something going on now with TikTok specifically where there's so much beef going on between what people are claiming to be real riders and then helmet creators. And when I say helmet creators, I'm talking about the people that will put a helmet on that don't have a bike, or all their content is them standing in front of their bike and never riding it or dancing in front of it. Whichever type of content you want to refer to that with it, where they are just going after these helmet creators and they're telling them that they're not real riders or whatever, and they might not be. Maybe they have the bike and they don't ride it, or it's their friend's bike and it just gets them views. If it gets them the content that they like and it gets them the followers that like that content, so what? Let them be them. They found their niche, they like what they're doing, and they're happy. And the people that watch it like it, because they have 100,000 plus followers, so obviously people are liking the content. So just let them do what they do. I find it so weird when you come after people for creating something that they put out there. I saw you thought about it, but you didn't. I'm watching you, car. But again, like in my head, if I see some content that I don't like or I don't find it that interesting, I move on. I don't comment on it to say this is the worst thing ever. I just keep scrolling, or I find the next, YouTube video, whichever one it is. Like even, you know how YouTube has a dislike button? I don't think I've ever disliked a video. I just continue on. I find it kind of strange that people hit the dislike button. But that's just me. If you hit the dislike button, so what? But like, how do people live their life having to put other people down? Like, it's kind of weird to me. I say weird a lot, but the biker community has always been, at least in person, very friendly. Everybody's very forgiving. They're like, oh, you're a beginner rider, here's some tips, let's go ride together. I enjoy your bike, you enjoy my bike, we're all on two wheels, let's have a good time. But now, because social media has gotten so big and it's become a major part of bike life, that I guess if you're not famous or something, that people just don't like it. I don't know. But social media is just like, it's just a way for the keyboard warriors to come out, because they're afraid to say it to your face, I'm guessing. But in person, everybody's so nice, so I don't get where this whole drama is coming out online. So all I can imagine is just their keyboard warriors that are afraid to say something. That's the only thing I can think of. And that's kind of why I want to go back to how the bike community used to be, before social media kind of ruined everything and just gave everybody this false sense that if you're not recording it, then it never happened. Probably should have gave that kid a couple ribs, but it's okay. I wasn't really paying attention. I was watching the cars. Now, one of the last things I want to kind of go over is when it comes to new riders. And this kind of goes back to the bike thing about what bike you should get. But I see a lot of comments that are like, you know, your first bike, and this is a very large skewed range too, where they say, you know, your first bike is either going to be a Honda Grom or a leader bike. And I don't get where this like whole dispute really is going to come from, when the simple answer or simple question you should be asking this person is, what experience do they have? For example, me. I grew up racing motocross. I've been riding motorcycles, or at least dirt bikes, ever since I was like 5 years old. And don't get me wrong, the street is completely different than dirt, but the fundamentals are there. I hopped on a street bike, and my first bike was a 750. I hopped on a street bike, and it was like second nature. I never had to worry about anything. I just got on it and rode it. Now, my wife, on the other hand, has never touched a bike in her life, and when she passed the MSF course, we rode around in the neighborhood a couple of times to get a feel for it, and then we went out on the street. And she is like 5'2" and like 100 pounds. And I was able to get her a nice Honda Rebel. It's an older model. It's a 1985. I'm not too worried about it. It was cheap. But that is a bike she can handle. We are two totally different people. I went straight to a 750 because I had the experience. She did not. You never know what these people have. Maybe they rode dirt bikes growing up. Maybe they rode some street bikes growing up, and they just finally like are getting their own. The world is different for everybody, and we need to bring that back of like where everybody started from. I'm sure when you first started riding motorcycles, you were thankful for all the help that you got. And that was one of my big things on my channel, is I'm here to help you however I can. My channel has always been about helping people. And I try to give as much truthful information as possible. Sometimes I may be wrong and I may give some bad information, but I don't do it on purpose. I'm trying to give you as much information that I have and what I think is right. And yeah, some people may come at me and say, oh, well, you should have done this, or this should happen. And I may kind of correct myself in the comments and say, oh, my bad, I probably should have thought about this, or I probably should have done that. But everybody makes mistakes. And that's another reason why you can't trust everything you see on the internet, because anybody can promote anything, even if it's wrong. But I think that those are some of the main things that we need to kind of hit the reset button on. We need to just squash a lot of this social media problems and go back to what the bike community used to be, which is just helping people and enjoying the ride and what we had as like a group. I've been to a couple bike meets, and I've even set up a couple, and the ones that I set up, I talked to pretty much everybody there, and I had asked probably the youngest person or the most newest person, my biggest question was, how fast are you comfortable going in a group? And if they say like 45 miles an hour, I'm gonna base it off of them. I don't want to hurt anybody. I want to be able to help people, make them feel comfortable, make them enjoy what they're having, so when they come back, they're enjoying what they do and they had a good time. Big old adventure bike here. How's it going? But I think that's pretty much everything I really wanted to cover. Obviously, it's give this thing a nice little lean in here. Feel a little MotoGP action. A little sweeping turn. That was honestly pretty nice. That felt really nice. Now that is obviously one of the some of the major topics that I wanted to go over. Let me know down in the comments what you think, if we should change something, if there's a way that we can kind of help bring that old community back. I'm trying to think of ways to really help people out here, but let me know what you guys think about some of the things I said. Should we change some of these things? Do you agree with what I said? Do you disagree? I'm more than happy to talk about it because I have nothing to hide. But let me know what you guys think about it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.